world. My name is Max Stein, and I love video games.
I'm the Megabuck. I really love video games.
My name is Raph. I love video games and punching trees.
Yeah, he does. And welcome to the Game Treasure Podcast, where we discuss treasured video games of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Warning, the Game Treasure Podcast is not for children or anyone with a brain for that matter. Hello, dear listener and watcher. Hello.
Hi.
Today, we have an excellent show for you. Raph is back, and thank goodness he is here because we need him desperately. Because as you can probably tell by the title of this episode, we have another genre study on our hands. The specials where we deep dive into different video gaming genres, trying to peer where their inception point is and maybe where their future is going. And this week, unfortunately for you listeners, you only have one person who has any opinion on the subject, really, which is survival games. Or do I mean survival crafting games?
Not
What
too
do
busy
I
trying
mean?
to survive in real life right now.
Right? Don't
Do
you gotta
they all?
craft to survive, huh?
We will get into that. We do not have a retro zone for you today, so we will just be jumping right into said subject material. So let me begin this conversation like I always like to when we do these genre studies, which is by trying to outline what I believe are the core tenets of this proposed genre that I'm giving you. I'm going to call it the survival game genre. I'm not going to call it the survival crafting genre. We'll get into why I'm even flip-flopping in between those two names later.
It's valid, yeah.
Don't waver
but
so much, right?
Exactly.
this is survival is a tag on Steam that has over 15,000 games tied to it. And I believe that the tenets of this genre are A, persistent world.
Okay.
Gotta have a persistent world where usually like a server that gets saved that you can jump into and out of.
Yeah.
Usually, right? That can be randomly generated or not.
True. Yes.
Both are fine. And two, and this may sound like, well, duh, but you play as a character. You have to be playing as a person in a universe, but not always necessarily like an RPG with stats. But you're a person in a universe that has mechanics revolving around maintaining your vitals. So
Yes.
hunger,
Yeah, okay.
thirst,
Hunger, thirst, yeah,
need
yeah.
for shelter.
All the things you hate in the D&D campaign.
And, yeah.
Some of
and
us
in
like
life.
those.
But those can come in the like, you can get as abstract with that as you want. Maybe you thirst for blood because you're a vampire. Maybe
Exactly.
you whatever.
Yeah.
And then controversial third thing, I'm sorry, but crafting. All right. AKA
Yeah.
using items in the world to make things that will help you meet said aforementioned vital needs.
Right.
So basically, in other words, in order to meet those vital things, eat food, you need to cook it first, which makes you have to make a stove and make the food and blah, 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 blah. My evidence for why I'm throwing this in there is because there's basically no game that you can find on Steam today that will have the surviving mechanic and not the crafting one.
Right. Yeah.
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 There are very few that are just like camping simulator. And it's just like, no, you don't craft anything. Hopefully you just packed ahead. Like, no. Usually.
That cooler's chock full. I don't need to make nothing.
Yeah, you just find shit on the ground and it's perfectly ready for you.
Yeah.
No, I think that is not the case. I think that basically any survival game you're going to find nowadays is going to have crafting in it. And therefore it is a tenet of it.
And with
Without
that,
needing to be named in the subgenre name.
I think with it also some form of base building. I don't know if you would mix that in with the crafting side.
That
yeah.
meets your need for shelter, which is a
Right,
thing
there
that
you go.
need.
Yeah.
Because
That
a lot
works,
of games,
yeah,
sometimes you need shelter because enemies come at night to attack
Right,
you. Sometimes you
exactly.
need shelter because it's cold outside. Sometimes because you need to rest. Whatever, they'll come up with a reason. The point is, usually you got to craft the thing that helps you fix yourself. And what is crafting? We'll talk about that later. But really quick off the top, I think it's best to preface the conversation with our opinions / exposures to the genre. We'll go from least to greatest. Buck, I think you have the least experience with survival games. What do you think about them?
I think that they're not too far off from the job game genre.
That's fair.
That you tend to enjoy, right? I think the thing that drives me away from them a bit is most of the things you're doing them feel very monotonous. It's like the gameplay designer had X amount of things in mind and said, how do we make it, instead of taking an hour to get from point A to point D, how do we make it take 20 hours? Well, that's easy. You don't chop down 10 logs. You chop down 10 logs to get to level 2 and then 25 logs to get level 3. And then there's like this constant growing need to do more of a thing just to unlock the next thing. And then the next thing becomes a mechanic to the following thing, becomes like board game mechanics, but like not in a fun or a truncated kind of way.
Okay.
And so while I can understand and respect that that's for some folks, the tediousness of it is just not something that I enjoy when I'm playing a video game.
Yeah.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
I am in the middle, I'd say.
Mhm.
I've played V Rising, which is a game
that
where
one. Yeah.
it's got an interesting isometric perspective. You play as a vampire. I thought it was cool. Couldn't stick to it. I played, I tried to get into Minecraft. Thought it was cool for about until I built my first house, and then it was like that thing where it was just like just kind of exploring a random. It didn't suck me, and then
Yeah.
I've tried. I think I played one game of 7 Days to Die with Raph once, which is a zombie based survival game. That was pretty cool. It was cool to play with people.
Yeah.
That was certainly fun, but it was again not really a thing I'd stick to. I don't really care about decorating in any game. And a lot of these really do. I don't care about decorating in real life. And a lot of these games that do reach a point where a part of it is about decorating. I mean,
that's the Final Fantasy 14
It's
joke
so
that
hard
the glamour
because
is the end game, right?
things like Stardew Valley and Pocopia, which are this close to being served. They have the crafting mechanic, but they don't have the survival.
Yeah.
Remember, it goes the other way, but this way it works. There are a lot of games that you can find that will give you crafting. Shit, there's crafting in Resident Evil,
Right.
but it's not survival, right? I don't mind the building and the crafting and the optimizing. There's just something about, like Buck said, the monotony of just like eating
Yeah.
and sleeping, and even
And I actually
Power
get to do half
World is
those
another
things in
one I
real
played
life.
for a bit. And it was just like, if this part wasn't in the game, I'd like it more. Raph, can you give us a top-down view of why you like these bad boys?
So a lot of the reasons why you guys don't like him is why I do, which is crazy.
It's just
That's like different categories of books or movies,
exactly.
right?
No,
It's
that's
okay.
why I was like, you know what? When Buck was describing the things he didn't like him, I was like, that's completely valid. I understand that. That makes
Tree
a lot
puncher.
of sense. Yeah, it's a tree puncher. Exactly. I like the ability to decorate my home in a game, and I especially like that ability with my friends. I like to be able to play these games with friends. They're kind of really not as fun by yourself, and I really don't play a lot of them alone, with a few exceptions here and there, which are just because I like building things. They're really Legos for adults, or they're Legos for gamers in a lot of ways, and I think
I was gonna say
that's what I
Legos
like
are
about it.
Legos for adults.
Yes, exactly. Legos are for everybody. But this is like a video game version of Legos, and I think that's why I like that. I like the open-ended nature of it. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I just like exploring a world and like manipulating the world with my friends. I guess.
Yeah,
Makes
that's
sense.
fair.
Well, you heard it here. Raph wants to terraform the
Yes.
the planet.
Let me terraform Mars. Yeah.
Or at least
that
one of
makes
its
sense.
moons,
The
right.
comparing it to Legos is like, all right, yeah, I do. Legos are fun.
I'm just gonna go build Legos.
Yeah, true. I would also. Yeah,
I have
I
a
would play Legos.
compound right now in Shrouded where I have like, a courtyard and a farm and like all these, I love doing that kind of thing. Just that menial, I can turn my brain off with them in a lot of ways while also solving problems. I don't know if that makes sense, but
It's the reason though why I like gardening in real life.
right.
Like seriously,
Yeah.
half joking, but
100%,
like
yeah.
I'll go outside and do things in the yard, but
I don't mind managing those tasks in Stardew, but there's something about when you eat in Stardew, it's to gain a bonus.
Okay.
It's not just because duh. You know
And
what
that's
I mean?
fair.
Like,
And I actually really don't like that aspect of them. I don't like survival games where if you don't eat, you straight up die. Not to go too far ahead into it, but like certain games, like for example, Enshrouded or Valheim, I like the way that they do food in that, where your food gives you a buff. You know, you have to fill 3 slots in your stomach and then you get a buff. And I like that. I like that kind of thing.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But how did we get here, dear listener, viewer?
No idea.
I will attempt to. I mean, the history is not that long compared. Like for once, we have a genre that doesn't start back with Galaga or fucking, you know what I mean, adventure.
Right.
So the concept of surviving, with huge air quotes, has basically been a part of video games since video games inceptions. Like you could semantically argue, like Pac-Man has to survive the ghosts in the maze.
It's a survival
You
horror
have to
game.
survive the
Without
alien
the power
invasion.
pellets, he will die. He'll stop moving like a shark. He'll die.
Yeah.
I just mean, like if you like for the devil's advocates out there who are like, actually in Rogue you have to survive the dungeon, and it's just like, yes, I know, dear listener, but that's not what I'm saying. Those games have other end goals, like you know what I mean. In Zelda, you do have to survive the game, but your goal is to kill Ganondorf.
Right.
Your goal is not to survive. Somewhere along the lines, we get a game that finally decides to make surviving the objective of the game, and I believe that starts in 1992 with Unreal World, created
correct,
by
yeah.
Sami Maranen. Maranen. He's a Finnish, I believe.
Yeah, it's 2 guys, Sammy and I forget the other guy's name, but yeah, there's 2 guys that worked on it. Urka, I believe the other guy's name is. First name Urka.
It was released for PC and Macintosh. You play as a Finnish guy in the Iron Ages of Finland.
First draft.
And
Kicks ass.
it's got like this
This
top
game's just
down.
about my grandpa.
It's a hinger dinger. It's kind of looks like Dwarf Fortress, honestly, like perspective wise. It's like really zoomed out map. You can only see in a cone of vision, like you can only see 180 degrees in front of you, so
Like
you cannot
Darkwood.
see what's going on behind you. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, like Darkwood, yeah.
When the game originally came out, it was like there was fantasy elements in it. There was like elves and orcs and all this bullshit. But then in 1996, we have an important update, which is they introduce, you know, tell me if you've heard this one before, wilderness survival features, weather/climates, the ability to craft leather and build homes, and the ability to starve to death.
Let me tell you, Frostbite is like the #1 killer in Unreal World. It killed me so many fucking times.
I think you mean in real world Iron Age Finland.
Yes, exactly,
It's a very
yeah.
good.
Raph, shake Raph. You've never actually died of frostbite, Raph.
Oh god, my toes. But yeah, so if you check I'll probably have footage of this game up right now. I'm bringing it up because, as I've said, the goal in the game is to just see how long you can live. When you die, you start a new game. It's a procedurally generated world, and you just do it again. You see if you can survive for longer in the Finnish wilderness without starving. Then we get, in 2003, 2 different pretty important genre pieces here in Stranded and Worm.
Yeah.
So Stranded is a PC game. It's a first-person exploration game, basically. It's a survival game also, kind of. You gather resources from around the world, this desert island that you are stranded on, and you craft shit to help you craft more shit, with the end goal being that the last thing that you craft is a raft that you then use to get off the island.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
So technically, the goal of this game is not to just survive. It is to build a raft to get to the end. But other survival games that Raph will end up talking about later also have sort of end goals sometimes. There are certain ones that'll give you a story that you can finish, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But this game's pretty simple. I'll probably have footage up of it right now. It's pretty low poly. It's not much to it. The other game that I mentioned is Worm, which is actually technically an MMO. It's a third-person fantasy MMO. It had PvE servers and PvP servers where players could freely terraform the game world and build structures as they saw fit.
Very cool.
So if you saw our MMORPG genre diving episode, you will remember when we categorized those, and one of the categories of MMO was sandbox, where instead of having a curated funhouse for you to walk around in, the developers were just like, do whatever the fuck. And so in Worm, people would make guilds of their own accord and then build castles and manage them and build moats, and kind of like something we'll see in just a moment. The most important thing about Worm is that it was co-designed by a Swedish game developer named Marcus Persson, aka Notch, aka the guy that made Minecraft.
Yeah.
So that leads me into the next pivot and the next pillar.
Is
I should
Minecraft
say.
a new game? I've never heard of this one
The
before.
biggest pillar, of course, basically the totem pillar. There's always one game that we'll point to, be like, and then Super Metroid happened, or you know what I mean? Like, in 2009, Minecraft's first rendition,
alpha,
it's like pre-release or whatever, is JavaScript ass game comes out, and it has no goals. You basically just explore and try to survive. While if you've never played Minecraft or seen Minecraft, it's a voxel art game where you use blocks to craft other blocks.
Why are you listening to a video game podcast? You've
yeah.
at least heard of
Minecraft
Minecraft.
is, I think
Um,
Terraria is also, it came out right around the same time, and I believe
Yes.
both of those games are foundational.
That's in 2011.
Yeah.
Terraria comes out, which is like basically right when Minecraft's 1.0 release comes out.
right. Yeah. The
So
Bedrock
Terraria is basically side-scrolling Minecraft.
edition.
Same thing, randomly generated world. You do stuff like craft armor for yourself and swords to fight bad guys. And blah, 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 blah. I don't mean to be in a patronizing tone. I just don't like these video games. But
Cut it out, Mac. You're not supposed to do that.
the
hurting
final
Raph's
piece
feelings.
that I wanted to comment as far as survival crafting, that sort of is the exception that proves the rule, or however you say. In 2012, the Arma 2 mod, DayZ,
Right.
blows the fuck up. It's a survival game. Technically, it's a little bit outside of those, aforementioned like totems, because there's not, I don't know, is there a lot of crafting in DayZ? Not really,
Not
right?
a huge amount, but it is.
You might like turn scrap bandages,
Yeah.
like paper into
You
bandages,
could
or
build
something into bullets, but
that kind
you
of
don't
thing.
necessarily
Yeah,
craft
right.
buildings and
No.
shit, right?
No.
Yeah, you did, didn't you? Well, when they split it off, didn't they originally have them together?
I'm gonna go
as
with
one?
Raph's opinion because I know
Well,
he's played a fuckload of DayZ.
It was a mod, and yeah, I think there are certain structures that you can build, like tents and stuff like that. But I don't think you can actually build buildings. There is a standalone now, which you may be able to. I've never played the standalone. I played the mod, the original mod from like 2012, I believe you said. I played that one, but there wasn't any sort of like building in that game.
And that's
It was
separate
just
from
kind
like
of
the H1Z1, right?
Correct,
The
yeah.
DayZ mod
H1Z1's
is
a
separate.
different
Okay.
game
I think
altogether,
that's what
yeah.
I'm thinking of
maybe
there.
maybe
'cause
they
that had,
also
like,
came out around the same time.
That had like lean-to shacks. I remember because I remember us setting
Right.
up like punja sticks to try and keep people out of our.
That would be correct.
shack
Yeah,
and
yeah, that
shit.
makes sense. Yeah.
But most important thing, you need to drink water. You gotta eat food. You gotta get rest. It's a survival game there, and there's a little bit of crafting, and it's just incredibly, incredibly popular because basically once those three games that I just mentioned come out, for the next 5 years, send in the clones.
Yeah,
Just fucking
exactly.
millions and millions of fucking like. I found this on Wikipedia. Superdata, which is a research firm, estimated that survival games brought in over $400 million in revenue
Wow.
over the first 6 months of 2017, making the genre one of the largest markets in the video game industry. Unfortunately, I have played basically none of those games. So I am now going to turn the podcast over to Raph, who can maybe elaborate a little bit more on the games that have come out
Yeah.
in the past 10 years.
Yes,
and which ones are good and which ones aren't.
Well, even just briefly right before that, too, before that 10-year mark, you have like right after DayZ, there was 7 Days to Die in 2013. That
game is that old, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's been in early access most of that time, which is hilarious. They just came out with
It just
the
came
1.0.
out last week.
You say that, but it was like last year that they did the 1.0. Like, and it was in early access for like 10 years. It's crazy. I'm actually convinced that the Fun Pimps don't like their own game. They really like whatever. I'm not going to get into that whole thing, But yeah, so this game took the idea of DayZ and made it into a proper survival game. Something that you didn't mention about DayZ is the persistent world in terms of like the multiplayer aspect of it, which I don't think Minecraft, when it initially came out, had a multiplayer. I'm not sure about that exactly. I don't think it did. But this game really took the multiplayer aspect and ran with it. So 7 Days to Die also has a persistent world. You can, if you're playing on a server with a lot of people, one that's run and managed, you can kind of go in and out and you can get raided and stuff like that. A la Rust. Like Rust is another game that also has this feature. One I don't have much experience with, but I do have quite a bit of experience with 7 Days to Die. The cool thing about 7 Days, though, is that it added horde mechanics to the genre. I don't know a lot
That's
of the
a zombie
games that did
game,
that
right?
before that.
So
Yes, right. So in that game, days go by in hours. Like you have like an hour per day, basically. After 7 days, a horde will show up at your base and try to destroy everything and kill you. And so what typically happens is that you end up building a horde base separate from your home base, and then that's where you hole up for one night while the blood moon happens, and you kill a bunch of zombies in massive waves and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. I also want to cover another game that came out in 2013 that also is heavily inspired by DayZ and 7 Days to Die. All of these are kind of like based on Cataclysm, an old roguelike, Dark Days Ahead. I think we talked about that in the roguelike episode. But a game called Project Zomboid that came out in 2013 as well. That one is like The Sims if it was a survival game, basically.
That's a good comparison.
Okay.
Yeah, you're playing in an isometric view, and it's very similar to 7 Days to Die. Very granular in it. All the different ways that you can get killed. You can get bitten and infected, and then die from an infection. You can starve to death. Various different things that can happen to you. Outside of the zombie stuff, there's also a game called Don't Starve, which is also like another kind of a pioneer in like the multiplayer side of it. Later on, they added the multiplayer stuff, but that was also a really cool.
That's
game.
like a 2D,
It's a
like
2D
almost
top-down,
like
not pixel art. It looks like it's like hand drawn art almost.
Right, I'm familiar
it's
with
got-
that one because that one's got like a co-op game that came out later too. Like
Don't Starve Together.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's later on added the multiplayer.
looks like some Nightmare Before Christmas Tim Burton ass shit.
So there's also one that came out in 2014 that I didn't know if I should include it in here. It has a lot of the stuff in it that would make it I feel like it was worth mentioning, but this War of Mine.
Oh yeah,
This War of Mine
that's actually a pretty cool concept. I kind of like that game.
It
I played
is.
that a little bit. Yeah.
Right. It's a game where you play as a person who is in a war-torn country, but not like a soldier. You're just an average person just trying to survive. Unfortunately, very topical, but yeah, this game, I feel like it's unique in its realistic and grim tone. Up until this point, a lot of these games weren't quite as grim and dark, and this one is very much so. It's almost like it's trying to teach you a lesson. But I want to move on to 2017 because this is like one of the biggest pillars in the modern day, and that's Ark Survival Evolved in 2017.
Awesome. Yeah.
Dude,
This game is fucking
this game
huge.
is huge. Yeah, absolutely. Huge in a lot of ways. I actually have a gripe with Ark Survival Evolved. The way that they do their file structure is a pain in the ass. Like it's like 150 gigs, and you have to have like twice the amount of space on your computer so it can update. It's ridiculous. But still, this game, despite being as old as it is, despite being as janky it is like one of the coolest survival games I've ever played. You are stranded on an island and there's a bunch of dinosaurs everywhere. So you got dinosaurs, you got guns.
What more do you want?
Exactly. No, you want
It's
to talk
Dino
about...
Riders in
Thank
game
you.
form.
I'm so glad
Yeah.
you said Dino right.
Amazing. You want to talk about Pal World, and people talked about how that game ripped off Pokemon, but I don't think it did. In a lot of ways, what it ripped off was this game. Ark Survival Evolved. You can train dinosaurs, you can ride them, you can have them essentially follow you around.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Chris
God.
Pratt, eat your heart out.
Riding a fucking T-Rex into battle with an AK-47 is the coolest thing I've ever done in my life. I'm just saying. Like,
This game looks good too. I want to say, like, when this came out, I remember being like, well, this is the nicest looking survival game I think that's come out.
I
Which
won't
is
lie.
normally kind of
Look-
the opposite, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, look at it now. It really doesn't look as good, but it's still, there's something so appealing about it, even though it's probably one of the jankiest games I've ever played. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. It's something about getting
Something
chased.
about free roaming giant models in a sandbox world that you have absolutely fucked up and decimated in your terraforming quest.
Yeah,
They
it's
clip
so
on stuff.
funny.
What can I
It's
say?
So funny. I mean, one of my favorite memories of this game is having a pet Sasquatch, like a pet like Sasquatch that would follow me around. I named him.
skunky?
I
Mac,
named
you
him
left
Darwin.
something out of the tenants. Absurdity is also something that happens a
No,
lot in
that's
this
special
genre.
to this one.
So so moving on to 2018, you'll notice going forward here, a lot of these games really don't innovate in the mechanics. What they innovate in is setting, more high concept ideas. So 2018 Subnautica comes out. And that game takes the stranded element of these games, because being stranded is a huge trope in survival games, and takes it to another level and makes it so you're stranded on a planet completely covered in water. So most of this game doesn't involve horizontal exploration. It's extremely vertical. You're just diving down into the deep, dark depths of the ocean, which for some people makes this game unplayable.
It's one of the most interesting survival games to me.
Yeah, really.
And it
true.
it was Echo the Dolphin all over again.
Really?
Oh no, I
Yeah.
actually hate this. I hate
Worse,
this.
Yeah.
worse than Echo the
Right.
Dolphin,
Right.
because of the
That
3D-ness of it. I mean, you'll be in a
so-
huge ocean and a massive fish will come at you mouth first, and it's just like, it's the worst thing ever.
Like diving into the darkest part of like the map and then hearing like your computer say like Leviathan level creature detected, and then seeing the teeth come out of the darkness. Yeah. So
There
the worst.
is a new indie game coming out, and the name escapes me at the moment, but I watched someone play the demo, and it is like a mixture of that, but it is in a Lovecraftian universe.
oh my god,
that's
that's
what it couldn't get
man,
worse.
that's my
But this
my
game,
shit right there.
Subnautica, these developers, because I can't believe it took this long to set a survival game in a different setting, and then once they do it, if anyone else does it, now you're just copying Subnautica,
Which they do
Son
in
of a
abundance,
bitch.
man. You got games like Raft, you got games like a Void Train. Void Train just came out recently, and that game is also set in an unconventional space, a literal void, and a train that rides through said void. So you're literally just floating around constantly.
wow.
Yeah. I'm not sure when that one exactly. I want to say like the official release was like last year or maybe 2 years ago, something like that. But yeah, Void Train, another innovation in terms of like world design. But then again in 2018, you have probably one of my favorite entries in the genre, and one that spawned an upcoming second sequel, The Forest.
Yes.
So The Forest introduced a lot of really cool elements to the genre in that it has the most story. This game, the first game is revolving around the main character who is searching for their son. So you're in a plane crash in the beginning. Let me preface that with the actual like intro to the game. But you're in a plane crash on like some peninsula. I believe it's somewhere in Canada. It's like in the Canadian wilderness. I always thought people always think it's like an island, but it's actually a peninsula just off of like near Canada. It's like
Close enough.
Yeah. So you are in a plane crash and you're with your son, and there's a cutscene in the beginning where this guy, like this tribal, like terrifying, like tribal guy, like he looks like some kind of like a cannibal, and he takes your son, and then so the rest of the game is you just trying to find your son on the island while uncovering the mystery of what is happening on the island. Pretty cool story, honestly. A lot of very atmospheric elements to it. I've never played a game that took darkness so seriously. Really brings the horror to the genre as well without making it an actual survival horror game. It's also one of the most granular camping systems that I've seen. Like you can chop wood and then you have it piled up, and then you can set up your fire, and you can actually like go up to the fire, take the wood and crack it, and then throw it in the fire to set up like a campfire. Very cool. I love the building in that game too. But yeah, the main things that this one really brings to the table is that story, the horror, and like the really...
monsters in this game.
Oh
are
my god!
horrifying visages of terror.
They are
fucked up and weird, like
weird,
just like two torsos tied together. You're just like, huh? Like
I remember watching you play this, I think, one time, Rap, exactly that. And like that thing has way too many legs.
I played the sequel, which the sequel, in my opinion, really takes this and improves on it. I think the sequel came out in like 2022, maybe, if I remember right. I didn't add this one to my notes because I feel like The Forest is more foundational, but The Forest 2 is a much better game. Sons of the Forest. It just takes everything.
Sons of the Forest
takes everything to the next level. There's this one has a lot of these have dungeons that you can explore in them. This one has dungeons in the form of caves. So basically, if you've ever seen the movie The Descent, Every time you go into one of these
yeah.
caves, that's what it is. It's
Fuck
this
that.
descent.
Nope.
It's absolutely horrifying. And then, going into the current decade, you've got, and I'm going to kind of breeze through these because, like I said, they don't add a lot necessarily. It's just thematic things. You have 2021 Valheim. It's another
That one
voxel
was
game.
huge.
Valheim is a
popular.
massive game, very popular. I've put, I want to say a couple hundred to up to like 400 hours into this game. It's one of my favorites. You have Grounded that came out in 2022, which is essentially
yeah, that is a
Honey, I
that's
Shrunk the
true.
Kids. It's Honey, I Shrunk
Honey,
the
I Shrunk
Kids.
the
That's a
Kids one.
survival game?
Yeah,
it's
you
a
didn't know that was a
survival
survival crafter?
No, I did not. I thought
Yeah.
it was like a platformer adventure
No,
kind of game.
it is a
I was familiar with the
survival crafting
premise, the
game.
Honey I Shrunk the Kids
Yeah,
premise, but
You are basically just surviving. The goal of that one is to get unshrunk, obviously, but the whole game takes place in the backyard, which is fun.
Right.
I love that
Yeah, that
idea.
is fun.
There's like an entire zone in that game, which is the sandbox, and it's got like a bunch of like poisonous bugs and stuff in there. It's very cool.
I too enjoy Solar Opposites. I mean, AKA The Wall episodes from Solar Opposites.
And then you have in 2024 Enshrouded, a game that I absolutely love. It
another
takes,
big one.
Yeah, it takes the Valheim formula and makes it a little bit more linear, a little bit more epic, and makes it look a lot prettier.
They have those RPG elements in it.
A
as
lot
well.
of RPG elements. There's a massive skill tree in that game. It's got a huge skill tree that you
Classes
can,
and shit, right?
Yep. Not any classes that you choose. You develop them as you play. But yes, you can be a warrior. The current run I'm in, I'm a like two-handed sword wielding, basically like Guts, like from Berserk kind of
yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
I've got my buddy Danny. He's a wizard. He's casting spells while I'm over there, crushing things with my massive sword. Or my buddy Alex has got the bow and arrow, and he's just being a rogue in the background. But yeah, Enshrouded kicks ass. The base building mechanics are pretty cool too. I've talked about the compound many times on the show.
Yeah.
It's probably my favorite game to just dive into and not really use my brain, just kind of turn it off and build shit. And then obviously 2024 you have Power World. the not Pokemon sequel,
Pokemon game.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Pikmin? What?
Power World just takes the idea of Ark Survival Evolved and applies it to like monsters, not Pokemon. Not much to say about that game.
Monsters, not Pokemon.
Monsters that are not Pokemon, yeah. And then you mentioned it earlier, 2024, you've got V Rising. This was What If Diablo was a survival game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like this one.
I played
more
this one a
than
bit
the
as
others.
well. Too.
This one is quite good. And what I like about this game, it takes the mechanics that Valheim had with the boss progression and runs with that.
Yeah, that's
And
I
true.
liked-
Go
I
ahead,
like
I'm
the
sorry.
raiding camps portion of this
Oh
game
God,
where you would like
yes.
where you would
Oh yeah.
you branch out and you would raid those camps, and it definitely had that Diablo like feel and the Diablo controls on purpose.
Right. My favorite part of this game, actually, hold on. Sorry, my throat is a little rough there. But
Yeah, you try hosting the show.
Yeah,
See how
right,
much
yeah,
you got to
yeah.
talk. No,
We
you
don't
don't.
want to.
no, I'm gonna leave this to you. But V Rising. My favorite mechanic from that game is the blood like system. So
Yeah,
right.
you absorb blood, but depending on the kind of blood that you
vampires.
absorb, you get certain stat boosts, and you can make it so you can build around having certain types of blood. So certain like percentages of blood, like you have certain humans that have like 100%, 80% blood of a particular class. You can take their blood and be better at certain things with that blood.
I'll need your blood.
Forgot about that.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah,
You can
would
get-
try to find someone with a certain percentage, or like an
Right.
animal, or like
High level
bears,
beast
and
blood.
wolves.
You can get beast blood, and you get like
Yeah.
better at
Yup.
certain
that was
skills
just,
and
like,
certain
cool.
combat mechanics.
So I
And
like
the
that
day
part
and
of
night mechanic in that game
Yes.
is fun because you're a vampire, so you can't get caught out in direct sunlight. So
Not
you
for
have
long,
to
at
stay
least.
within the shade of
Yeah.
trees, and so you did have to chop cheese down for the crafting, but don't chop down too many trees because then you won't be able to escape from your own house
Right.
during the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So those mechanics and that part of the gameplay was fun. If that was just the
Yeah.
gameplay loop, if it was just a Diablo vampire game, I
Yeah.
would like it. But when it becomes like the persistent world, again, now I'm punching trees to build a keep and to build my
And
coffin.
I'm making
and to
sure
build
my
a
house doesn't
forge.
get invaded while I'm not there. If we have anybody else in the world
Right,
with us, then
exactly, yeah.
yeah.
Which
And
I get it.
that's, that's I like playing these games exclusively with my friends. I don't play with
Yeah.
strangers. I don't jump into V Rising like community servers or anything like that. I'm not a big fan of that kind of shit.
True.
But I do love playing with my friends, and it's one of my favorite genres to really sit down with my friends and just kind of shoot the shit. I love doing one of the big, skyscraper missions in 7 Days to Die or something like that, But yeah, that basically brings us up to now. There's not a lot. I can't think of really any new ones that I have a lot of experience with. I mean, obviously, I mentioned Void Train came out fairly recently. That's one that I haven't had a chance to play. Takes the idea of Subnautica, Subnautica, and kind of blows it up and puts you in the middle of a void, which is very interesting. But yeah.
So not to mention the. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say The Forest is getting that new sequel, the crazy sci-fi one that looks fucking beautiful.
That does look really cool.
I don't want to even talk too much about it because I'm like, man, just make it good.
Gonna jinx it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, make it come out. Please come out soon. Yeah. I'm really excited about that one. I mean, the Sons of the Forest, man. Sons of the Forest is one of my favorite games like that I have in my Steam library at all. It's an experience. It's one that I actually would love to play with any one of you guys. Like it's the horror stuff just to hear how people react.
Maybe that's the aspect I'm missing. Maybe I don't play enough I played V Rising multiplayer, and while I understand it, it literally became, hey, do you guys want to do all the crafting and I'll just like play the game part of the game? I'll bring back the stuff that you
know
need,
what? That's a way to play it. My buddy Danny loves building. I'm not super into the building part in some of these games. I like the exploration. I like like doing the diving into dungeons or whatever and then coming home and maybe decorating my room and stuff like that.
So at the risk of aggravating all of the survival game fans out there, aside from the sequels to very popular franchises that are coming out, is this a genre that's kind of on its way in the downtick? And I put that in a perspective of like, remember when Metal Gear first came out and every game that came out was trying to be a tactical espionage kind of game, and while they were the kings at it, you still had all the Siphon Filters and the Hitmans and all these others, and now there's only like a couple of those left that even are new and coming out popular ones. So is this like a genre that kind of hit its peak?
I think it might have. I think it might have hit its peak, honestly. All the ones, it's so homogenized now. A lot of these have very similar mechanics.
Right.
There's the only real difference, like I said, at this point is like, what kind of setting are we putting this in? Abiotic Factor. I guess that's another one that came out fairly recently.
Yeah, describe that one. That was a good one.
That's another one that came out fairly recently, and it's got a unique idea without really being unique in its mechanics. You play as essentially a researcher at the Black Mesa facility after it has been taken over by monsters, and you're just surviving and trying to escape. You're not Gordon Freeman. You're not the hero of the story. You're just some physicist trying to escape. One of those
crappy scientists that Gordon runs by on the way in or the way out.
Right. You're running around making like crossbows out of like rulers and pens and shit like that and rubber bands. Like that's the kind of shit that you're doing in that game. It's very fun. That. Yeah. So I don't know if it's a dead genre, but it's certainly not
wasn't necessarily
one that's
dead.
growing.
I'd just say it's waning to the population that enjoys it. It not? It's not on a boom of more people getting into them.
It's fairly niche. I think it's still, even though it is one of the biggest tags out there, I feel like as a genre, it's still fairly kind of niche in a lot of ways. Like,
and it reminded me too of one other one that I think I played, but it was really more of a rogue light game than a survival game, even though it had a lot of survival aspects, and that was The Flame in the Flood.
Oh,
you
I
guys remember that?
No.
So one where it's you and your dog. You're on a procedurally generated river, going down the river on your raft, and you're having to stop on the sides to stop and forage for supplies and food and build shelter or find shelter and sleep. But it's very much so a roguelike. It's how far can you get down the river, or is there even an end to the river? It's not like a persistent open world, which is I think what we're mostly talking about.
Right.
It looks very cool though. Yeah.
People argue online that Oregon Trail is a survival game.
I
and that
almost
thing you're describing
it.
is like Oregon Trail, but I agree with you where it's just like, well, there's no world that you can
exactly.
You're on a path, so
I think
Oregon
Trail
is different.
Yeah, I think we're talking more. Yeah.
No, I would agree.
I guess that would be an adventure game.
Sure. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's probably like Buck said, it got popular, but I think all the genres have been done, and now it's just like here's another fantasy one. There's like I said, Subnautica got underwater, and now if you do subwater, you're copying them. I don't know if there's a space one. I'm sure there
I suppose you can consider No Man's Sky to a certain extent.
There you go. That's actually a perfect example that we didn't even talk about. That is absolutely a crafting survival game.
Astroneer, I believe, is also the similar. In space. Yeah, they exist. They exist for sure.
Just like put one in the Wild West? I don't know. Yeah, so,
I think that's also something that exists. But if you are a,
It's called
if you're
Red
a
Dead Redemption. Wait, that game has an end?
yeah, that's kind of true.
if you're a survival fan, I think you'll be eating good for a while. But I just don't. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a genre that's on the uptick. Sure.
Okay.
Right.
Well, that is, I think, a perfect place to end our discussion on survival games. Thank you, Raph. That was very informative. Go out.
Thank you for coming to your
If
TED
you're
Talk.
curious, look up some of those games that Raph mentioned. He's got good taste in these, so I'm sure they're excellent. But we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to do our What Else You Got and head on out of here. See you on the other side, listener.
Let's go to a place where everything is made of blocks. Let's go wherever you want to go, made of blocks. Climb the tallest mountains, made of blocks. Venture down to the darkest caves, made of blocks. Build anything you want, made of blocks. Day or night, rain or shine, blocks.
Alrighty, gentlemen, it is the end of our show, which means it's time for What Else You Got? The segment of our show we can bring anything to the table, be it video game or otherwise. I'll just go first. Just some updates. Super Interview Brothers will be now coming out on a bi-weekly basis. And we're going to have the episodes come out 1 week earlier on our Patreon.
Cool.
So if you're a Patreon subscriber, the Super Interview Brothers is me and Buck's other show where we've been talking to real video game developers, and we've gotten some cool ones now, like officially. We talked to the guy who did Home Signal Hotline today.
Okay, Home Safety Hotline.
Or Home
Wild
Safety
guys.
Hotline, I'm sorry.
And Forbidden
wait to see
Solitaire
that
that
one.
comes
And
out
Forbidden
next month.
Solitaire.
I'm so excited to see
And
that one. Yeah.
Ratcheteer.
He was cool.
DX. Like, good.
He was cool.
Freaking cool. And then...
All these devs have been really cool. I'm waiting for the dud dev. Sorry if you end up being the dud
If
dev,
you're the
whoever
one
you
that's
are.
the
But
dud, yeah.
so far, every time it's been like, this guy's been great. We just did Shutter Story. We did that. We got Dodo Ducky coming up. It's like, these are really cool devs.
So go to our patreon.com/the GTP to subscribe. Besides that, I did MegaCon. I do the Improvengers. I probably talked about this last year, where I do improv at MegaCon, which is
How
a
did it
big
go?
sci-fi anime convention. Shows went well. We get the free passes to basically we just do a couple of shows, and then we get free passes to MegaCon, which normally costs like $300 or something insane like this.
That's a pass.
And while I was there, I did find a retro game booth, and I did finally get my hands on a copy of Advanced Wars 2 Black Hole Rising for the Game Boy Advance.
Great game.
The cover is a little bit damaged, unfortunately, but not too bad. And I have been looking for a copy of this game for a while, and there's a local game store near me that had it with the box, and I was like, I don't want the box, so I don't want to pay for the box.
That's fair. The cardboard
and
gets expensive. That
this is
20,
not a
30
cheap
cardboard.
game. People don't often sell this game because it kicks ass.
Yeah.
So I've been playing it on my analog pocket, and I think this is like I have a couple of Game Boy Advance games, but this is the first one where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep playing this. I
That's a
love
great
this.
game.
Is the
Advance
entry
Wars is
into the Super Famicom Wars series. If you don't know anything about Advance Wars, it's a top-down strategy game with like very light story elements. So it's like imagine Fire Emblem without any of the RPG elements. It's just more like an RTS where you're trying to cleverly produce units at the right time and
Rock,
stuff.
paper, scissors.
It's been hitting like a strategy itch that I've been looking for in like Warhammer Let's Plays. Like I'm horny for army combat for some reason. So
He's got to come to Kill Team Night.
Advanced Wars 2 has been scratching that itch. But lastly, I just wanted to mention that Fox McCloud's going to be in Mario Galaxy, and I fucking called it. You can watch as an episode at the end of last year. Did you know this, Raph?
I didn't know this. No.
Yeah, they
Poster.
spoiler
Let
their
me
own
do
movie
this.
yesterday.
I got this.
Okay.
I just want to be quick. I don't want to dwell on it for long. I said it was weird they were jumping straight to Galaxy, and I said, can you imagine if they did this so they could go to the other worlds of the other Nintendo characters?
You did say that,
and
yeah,
boom,
yeah.
it's Fox.
That makes sense.
Fucking told your ass.
Very
All
cool.
right.
And confirmed today, Glenn Powell is the voice actor.
Oh,
Ooh, baby.
Damn, that rocks. All right, Buck, what else have you got for us this week? I don't want to dwell on that. What
No,
else have
that's
you got?
okay. I got some good big what else you got today, because don't you guys have phones? Because Dissidia Final Fantasy is out on the phones. It's an isekai. That's Kane in a fedora and a trench coat.
That's Kane as a handsome
Spotify video
Japanese
moment.
man.
Dude, so it's got all the different characters from Final Fantasy. I mean, literally the roster. Here's Terra, but you can also put her in like a sweater and like shorts.
Okay.
So the characters you've got the Warrior of Light, you've got Kane, you've got Kryl from Final Fantasy V, Kryl, like with Grandpa Galuf, not 14. Terra, Cloud, Renoa from 8, Zidane from 9, Lightning, Gaia from Final Fantasy 14. If you guys know who she is, she's the chick with the big hammer that was in Endwalker, and Prompto from Final Fantasy 15.
Cool.
It's like Dissidia should be. It's a 3-on-3 battle game, but to give you a spin for the phone, it has a boss in the middle. You're both trying to defeat. You have to build up your superpower. You both sides have a health bar for the boss. Whoever depletes the boss's health bar first is the winning side. Like any other phone game, it's got a little bit of gotcha stuff to it, but they did it in the coolest way on this one because the gotcha element, the draw 10 of this, whatever, are spells. When you do the draw element, you get fire, Fyra, thunder, Thundaga, haste, cure, all these spells, and then you equip the different ones to the characters, and the characters can also unlock character-specific ones. So you might only have one or two of the special abilities a character can do until you play and gotcha some more. Cool. But unlike most of these games, the actual gameplay part of it is really interactive and really fun.
Do you have something that you put your phone in to play it, or have you just been playing
No,
with
it gives you
screen?
different control styles on the screen. You can do where just touching in the bottom hemisphere makes you run and the camera follows you. You can do it where the camera doesn't follow you and you can just like turn it manually. You can do where on like the left side you move and on the right side you camera. So if you're going to play with both thumbs at the same time, you get even more control over the game.
Does it play in a vertical aspect ratio?
It does.
Whoa.
Okay.
Crazy.
Which is
Cool.
actually really neat because you have a mini map, so you don't really need a large field of view to see who's around you at any
You're
given
fighting
moment.
somebody like right in front of you.
It makes it a lot more fun. Seeing what's ahead of you is way more important. So this was
Right.
actually a really good decision of theirs.
Wow.
And again, because it's like an isekai, look, that's Tokyo Tower in the
That's
background. They sucked all the Final Fantasy characters into the real world to stop monsters. You can fight at like Shibuya Scramble Crossing.
That's
Fun.
in
fun.
like the
Yeah, that's
levels,
really
which
cool.
is so it's only just came out. It's really enjoy it. You can also, it's 3-player teams. You guys can get it on your phones and we can party up in a team of 3 and we can play it together.
That's hilarious.
Which is
I won't. I refuse. No, what else have you got? What else?
the other one is really big, Mac. This is
Okay,
really
fuck
big.
yeah.
This is a big one. Yeah.
This
I
one
will
is
see
this.
your
What do you
analog
got there?
pocket and I will raise you a
Oh, you
playbook.
got one! You fucking got one! What?
Oh my god, let's fucking
Oh,
go,
shit,
dude.
dude.
Fuck
Complete
yes.
with a crank.
Oh my god, dude! I've been wanting to.
It's a Blippo! What the
Of
fuck?
course it has Blippo.
Oh my god, dude.
Dude,
Oh my
I
god. Tell
want
me
one so
everything. Tell me
bad,
everything. I'm so
please, yes.
fucking jealous,
Me
dude.
too.
So this,
Go. This is incredible.
Go, go, go.
okay, so this wonderful little 1-bit screen on this thing does the perfect mix. This thing does indie games in reverse. The screen is 1-bit monochromatic.
Okay.
It's like a stupid high resolution Game Boy screen, right?
Okay.
And so it takes that into account when people make the games, but the amount of shading that people can do when this is just a splash screen for this game.
Incredible.
The way they can do the shading on it, then mix in the fact that the controls can be really good and that the sound design can be amazing with this
Yeah.
thing. You have some of the best little pocket experiences with this thing. So here's one of the coolest aspects that I love already of this, right? You make an account online and
Okay.
you have access to that where you can buy games. I bought some while they're on sale for the summer, automatically loads them onto this. You can buy games on itch.io and you remote load them to your Playdate account and then they will show up on your Playdate remotely because this little guy is internet connected,
That's
right?
cool.
So it comes with season 1's games. There's 24 games in season 1. And I bought season 2 for like 30 something bucks. That's 12 more games. But here's the cool thing. You can choose, and I did, to not get them all in one lump. So for the next 12 weeks, I get 2 new games on Monday and 2 new games on Thursday every week.
Do they
That
rotate around, or they just
rocks?
No,
in your
when it
library?
releases
New.
it's released, but I will play the game until I had my kind of fill of it. Because a lot of them you don't play forever kind of thing. But like right here is one I just had that came out. Whereas this is Thursday's other game. I haven't unwrapped it yet. I don't even know what it is.
Oh,
That's really cool. Wait,
my
do you use the crank to unwrap
God.
them or no?
No, well you can use the crank to scroll through your.
Oh,
ones on
did it
there.
make a sound?
And
Oh my god,
other
it made a
games-
sound.
When you
That's
undock the crank, it makes a sound. The crank, yeah.
It's so tiny.
I
It
want
is
one
so tiny,
badly.
isn't it?
I
I've been
love it,
wanting to get
dude.
for a
I'm
while.
Case for
so
it.
jealous.
It's got
Fuck
magnetic
me.
on it. You would love this thing, Mac.
I would
there's-
so bad.
There's a
Oh
bunch
my
of really
God.
cool pass and play games, but I want to talk really quickly about some of my favorites I've played so far.
Okay, quickly, yeah.
Obviously, Blippo, which is a blast. The next one is a game. Again, you start out with some of these and you think, am I even going to like this? What even is this? This next one is The Whiteout. The Whiteout is monochromatic, post-apocalyptic. It's been snowing for 10 years straight, and the world has basically ended.
Very cool.
It is literally a left to right, like side-scrolling point and click, where it's like, I got to go this. Oh, I need to cut that rope. I'm going to go over here. Oh, I found a shard of glass. Going to go do this. Now, you
Whoa.
procedurally unlock the things, but it's post-apocalyptic. It's like Walking Dead, but snow is the enemy. Like there's
Wow.
bad factions of people I've run into.
Okay.
The narrative and storytelling in this little 1-bit game is absolutely phenomenal.
Wow.
Fuck.
The next
Yeah.
one I didn't think I'd like as much as I do. Dig Dig Dino. Dig Dig Dino is literally just like not even like a puzzle game. It's a fossil digging game where you move around in like in a dig looking for dinosaur bones, and you have a shovel and you have a drill so you can dig through dirt, you can drill through rock, and as you dig deeper you find different fossils. You upgrade the shovel and the thing, and then you get bombs and other tools to allow you to unearth more of these. This is like just a really addictive little, not even puzzle. Oh, I guess it's kind of a puzzle game, but it's fun, and it's hard to explain without playing how much fun it is. Next one is 00 Perfect Stop. 00 Perfect Stop is a train simulator, like a full-on train simulator game in a train in Japan with narration. I mean, you literally pull out the crank and you set it to the base position. And then as you start
use that
the
to go
train,
fuck, that rocks.
Spotify video
Oh,
moment if you guys
wow.
can see here.
Yeah.
And you literally have to put the train into gear as you start and move the train along the tracks
Wow.
on this gorgeous little.
Incredible.
You think a 1-bit
That
screen
is
going to do this?
Beautiful.
And then one more I have to mention because it's
Last one,
absolutely
last
one of
one,
the
yeah.
favorites. This is my last one. Yep, for sure. Is Root Bear.
I'm sorry?
Root bearer?
Root Bear.
Root
bear.
Root beer?
Like
root
root
beer.
beer.
But with a bear.
Root beer is Tapper. I just gonna fill the tick. Oh, you
And
stop
then
it.
you gotta stop.
Okay,
Oh,
stop.
I love
I
that.
gotta, I gotta fill that. Oh, no, I gotta
love
stop.
that.
Oh,
I
perfect.
love that.
Oh, I gotta do that. Oh no, did I do? The artwork absolutely amazing.
That's
So
fun.
good.
This little thing is everything you play is in these little bits and these little chunks.
Yes, yes. How much did it cost?
Oh, these are over $200.
Yeah, I want to say
They
it's
are
like
not
$199,
cheap.
$299.
They do come with that whole
Yeah.
season of games, and the
Yeah.
games are cheap. The games are
Okay.
$1 to $10 depending on the experience. It is not a cheap little thing, but I took the dive just because it is a fun. It's just fun.
Amazing. I can't wait for Thanksgiving. We have to move on, though.
I warned you it was long. Sorry.
Yes, no, you're good. That is fucking tight
No,
as
it's
fuck.
amazing.
Raph, what else have you got for us this week, sir?
Yeah, I have a game. So this is actually we received this as a Steam key from somebody.
yeah.
I played a little game called Angel Engine
From the developer, they gave it to us. They'll probably be coming on Super Interview Bros.
Yes. What was it? This was HMS Studio Black Lantern Collective, I believe, and published by Nerve Labs and Aruakan Games, if I pronounced that right. I'm sorry if I didn't. So this is like, what if Five Nights at Freddy's had a bunch of mini games that you had to do to perform? Yeah, you had to perform to progress. So mechanically, it's played from a first-person perspective, a la Five Nights at Freddy, and you are performing operations on test subjects. The subjects are asleep while you're performing said operations, obviously, and you don't want them to wake up. You have to, as you progress through, whatever you're doing on them, there's a big countdown, a percentage up on top of you, and it's going down progressively. If it gets too low, if it gets to 0, they'll wake up and they'll kill you.
Yeah, that's like the anesthetized, but yeah.
Yeah, and you have to hit them with the anesthesia before, while it gets too low. The problem is that as you hit them with the anesthesia, it becomes less effective as it goes along. So you have to be careful how often you're hitting them with the anesthesia. You got to do the puzzles quickly before they wake up. Obviously if the patient wakes up, you die. On top of this, that's right, you're also managing the heat being produced like behind you. There's a door and there's like a thing. Yeah. So there's a mechanic. You hit a button and you turn around, which is the scariest.
Hold on. Don't actually turn around when you say that.
Sorry.
Say that
You turn around, which is like one of the scariest things. Like the fact that it has a
every
turnaround
scary game
button.
needs a turnaround button.
Oh my God. No, I hate it. But yeah, you have to, there's a mini game to that too, where you have to bounce a ball against the walls or whatever in there on a panel. And you have to keep the temperature from getting too high. If it gets too hot, then you also die. And I should add that every time you die, you are going to get jump scared in some way or other.
Yes. Even when your coworker shows up to say hello to you.
Oh my God, dude.
You.
Yeah. He just like, hey, how you doing, buddy?
I played the demo and then they offered the key and I'm like, that's really great. I'm giving it to Raph because your game's too scary.
Yeah. I mean, I had a pretty good time with it. Cool. You basically do that over and over again. I didn't get super far in it. And I'll be honest with you, this kind of game is not really my cup of tea. I've really only played like the first Five Nights at Freddy's. And I like it. It's very atmospheric, very scary, but it's not really necessarily my genre. For me, probably like a 6 or 7 out of 10. But like anybody who likes this kind of game, easily an 8 or 9 out of 10. Like this is
if you like WarioWare and you like horror games.
Yeah, I guess I should
made for you.
The actual mini games themselves that you play are quite fun. There's like that hook game where you have to you have panels that are moving across in both directions.
You know what that reminds me of?
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Right. You have these lines that are
There's
kind of moving across.
This is how podcasts work.
You have to cut. You have to drop the claw machine through openings in the walls.
You know what it's like? It's like that that level in Battletoads, Mac. Yeah. Where you're on the rappel and you're dropping down, you're having to navigate around the electrified lines. That's exactly what that mini game is.
Yeah, there's things like the Helldiver style button puzzles with the you have to do the directions on there. Yeah, it's pretty good. I honestly had fun. It is very scary. It's maybe I'm sort of what's the word? Desensitized to horror in video games. So it didn't really get me all that much. It is very tense. It's very tense. Yeah. Very good at that. But definitely, if you are into this kind of game, I would say it's an 8 out of 10 for sure.
What was the name again? One more time.
It's called Angel Engine.
Angel Engine.
Yeah. And I have one more thing. It's just a quick thing. I started playing the Demon Souls remake, just because I kind of was getting.
This man can't be stopped.
Yeah, I was getting antsy. I was like, man, I started trying to play other things other than Souls likes, and I was like, something is missing in my life. So I started playing Demon Souls. And Demon Souls,
existential dread.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very cool. It's got great vibes. The combat's pretty fun. I actually really like the combat in it. It feels more like Dark Souls 1, obviously. But it is by far the best looking Souls-like I've ever played. The lighting in this game is immaculate.
Taking full advantage of your PS5 technology.
Right, exactly.
Kind of what they were going for.
Some design choices that I'm not too keen on. This is my first time playing Demon Souls, and I don't like the curse upon death thing. They did make it easier in this game. So in Demon Souls, when you die, you lose half your health. Your max health gets cut in half. And that happens every time you die up to a certain point. In this game, it just happens once. There's also the world tendency mechanic that I don't like. If you die in human form inside of a world, the world tendency gets darker. And if it gets too dark, then the game becomes harder. It kind of punishes you for not being as good at the game, which I don't think is right. I'm glad they got rid of that in later Souls-likes. And then there's obviously the horrendous runbacks. So this game doesn't have a bonfire system like other Souls-likes. Yeah. There's one bonfire at the beginning of the level,
it's like a split world thing.
It. You have to get through the level, kill the boss, and then you can move on.
You remember that this was my first Souls game. I played the first Demon Souls on PS3, and that was my introduction to this fucking genre.
It is generally easier than other Souls-likes. It's not as hard gameplay-wise, but because of that fact that you have to run back the entire thing, and because of the level design choices, you often find yourself fighting a bunch of enemies in tight spaces or on ledges. That's where the difficulty comes from. All the bosses are fairly easy. They're all gimmick bosses. But I love the whole. It's a little frustrating. it's a little frustrating for sure, but I'm enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun.
Ninja Gaiden 2 shit.
Right. Yeah.
Do the whole fucking level to get to the fucking boss again, even if the boss isn't hard.
And it's exactly like that because this is just a giant game of Simon Says anyway, or rock, paper, scissors, I guess.
It is. Yeah. Very good though. That's what I got.
Cool. Yeah. It'll be like 8 in the morning, and I'll hear.
Damn it!
You die. I'm just like, God, that's a hard lifestyle. It's early in the morning to get frustrated.
I play it to relax. I don't know.
Very good. That does it for this episode of the Game Treasure Podcast. Thank you so much for listening or watching, dear listener or watcher. Make sure to subscribe and like this episode if you haven't. Tell your friends about us. That's how we get more viewers. Word of mouth is pretty much the best way. If you are just listening to this on Spotify, try to go to our YouTube and subscribe there, please, if it's not too much trouble, because that's where we post the Super Interview Brothers, and that's good stuff. You can reach us via our email at gametreasurepodcast@gmail.com. Our linktree /the GTP. It's got our merch store, and it's got that Patreon. Like where I said, if you become a subscriber, you're going to get the Super Interview Brothers episodes 1 week before everyone else does. We want to thank Crunkwitch for the use of our theme song, Clash of the Droids. You can find their music on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, internet.music.web, pretty much anywhere. And last but not least, we got to thank RetroGameTreasure.com, owned and operated by the Megabuck. RetroGameTreasure.com is a subscription service that helps you grow your retro video game collection.
Iron Man,
Ivan Man, whether you're just starting, right, or you have a big collection. The fact of the matter is, if you are a collector of video games, not just a person who enjoys video games, then you know that it is work to collect video games. You gotta fucking hunt for them. Sometimes that hunt results in like a no-kill hunt. You don't come back with anything, or sometimes you come back with a big deer and then you open it up and whoop, it's poisoned inside and you can't actually play it, and that kill is now not a kill, and you got to go back out and try to find another copy of NYPD's whatever that PlayStation 1 game that I'm always talking about. So instead, if you want assistance, Buck will help you. Go to RetroGameTreasure.com. Become a subscriber. Tell Buck what video game consoles you collect for and what video game genres you enjoy. You can select all the genres if you want to get every PS2 game eventually because you're that guy. That's cool. Yeah, Buck will freaking help you with that journey. But if you have a PS2, but you're like, I only like action games and I only like this, but I do not want to go fishing for these genres, Buck will do the fishing for you. And at the end of every month, a box of hand-curated games will come to you in working order, ready to be played right then and there. And don't worry, Buck keeps track of the games that are in your collection, obviously the ones he gives you as well, so that he never sends you a repeat game. So go now, start collecting video games the easy way today with RetroGameTreasure.com. But that does it for today's episode. Until next week, everyone, my name is Max Stein, and I love the Game Treasure Podcast. It's so bad.
It's so bad.